Hey, Laura J here to say I'm tangled up in this moment, evidently, but rose quartz is a stone of the heart chakra, which is about self-compassion, and I wanted to actually make this video before I noticed that because of the mass shooting that took place where now the disgrace of the officers who failed to act is what is commonly being discussed. And in behind, I've been listening to Cynthia Eraveo's Stand Up song. And I say this because what we need to recognize is that those officers are going to suffer the consequences of their choices, and they need compassion, compounded passion. This is the first, not the first, but just say it is, the first of many instances where good men and women will be put into situations where they are forced to choose whether they are going to act according to their conscience or whether they are going to follow the orders of a corporation, a corpse oration. What is spoke by the dead entity that requires our life force in order to fuel it. I desperately hope that the men and women that went that day, that were not able to act in time to save the lives that were lost in that school due to a shooter who was meeting his motivational needs of the lower 4 instead of the upper 6. Tony Robbins' hierarchy of motivational needs says certainty and variety are foundational, equivalent to survival in Maslow's hierarchy of needs. And then you have significance and connection, which are the equivalent of safety and belonging. And then you have growth and contribution, which are the equivalent of respect and self-actualization. And what we have to see is that those who were deployed to that site, who were not allowed to act and who were called to hold back those willing to take action in the name of saving them from harm, and yet in the process many lost their lives because they didn't have a defender or a savior to come in, because we are living in a world where we have been disempowered to think someone needs to come to do for us what we cannot do for ourselves. It is the nature of the beast and the evil that we have been living it with and in the belly of without knowing it. And so I just wanted to untangle this publicly, because I do believe that the officers who experience PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder, because of not being able to do what they know they could have done easier had they not been held back by the lowest common denominator, which is the problem and nature of groupthink. Those men and women, please pray for them. Please pray for all of the parents and students who lost loved ones and friends, who lost community, who lost their sense of safety in that process. And the soul who used violence in order to meet his needs in that moment, who lost his life in the end. These are all examples to us of the problem of not being present, of not knowing how to call ourselves back into presence. The presence, being present, that is the gift. And if we don't know how to get ourselves back here, we're going to be using out there in order to do for us what only we can. I know this is a controversial message, much of what I say is, but I want to just simply make this message because I feel all of the projections of those who are judging the officers, which don't exist. An officer is a status that the man or woman acting in the position of is converted into. And what we need to do collectively, as I've been saying for the last year as I've been dealing with the summons my person got, which is not me. I have a person. That's the government identity for me, the woman, which is not the same, but it is made to be. Our training says we are persons, and that's how we have power, but that's only in the public. When we remain standing in our private capacity, with all rights reserved, under common law, which is the unwritten and unlimited law, that is where our power lies. But if we don't even know about the capitalizing of common law that converts it into something that was written and therefore is limited, then we are limited. And the men and women acting in the positions that were not able to do what they would have done if they were acting alone on their free will instead of the group will, they need our prayers just the same as all of the others who were harmed, lost, experienced the corruption and fraud of this system and didn't keep the peace because someone was looking to have their needs met through the lowest hanging fruit of violence. This is what we need to understand culturally. The cult you rally with, BS, belief systems that we give our power to because we believe it to be true, this is what we need to address. We have to stop hating on one another because hate is how evil prevails. I have much more to share, but not for today, so I will simply say, peace be with you, peace be in you, and may we rise above the common threat to our humanity, the common hue that we all have, regardless of the difference. Within the skin, we all bleed red when the oxygen hits our veins. So let us get back to the fact we are more similar than different. We all need prayers. Faith is required. It has been attacked. It is not about what box or word you put the Creator into. It is about realizing we are co-creators and the world requires a revamp. Otherwise, we will remain within this con video game that is based in drama, trauma, fear, and shame. So, much love. We'll speak soon. Toodaloo. Laura J. Namaste. The light in me honors the light in you. Stand up.